SOLIDFPS here, and in this video we'll be taking a deep dive into King Shark's talent tree, where we'll cover what he's working with, how the character should be built, and my complete talent tree decisions for this living build guide that will change as we put an insane amount of hours into endgame. As we head into the game's launch and beyond, I'll be updating my build guides to include gear, talents, villain synergies, and other important discoveries as we push deep into the endgame. Make sure to keep tabs on my YouTube channel by subscribing to this channel for updates and notifications as they happen. This game will also have Twitch drops for the launch month, so come on over, fire up the stream on one of your other screens, and hang out. My community is really into looter shooters, so if you're looking for a clan or maybe some capable teammates, then you can also join our Discord, links in the description below. With all that taken care of, let's get into it. Starting with the top of the talent tree for each character, there are 3 nodes that give us a look at the basics of how it should be played. As I scroll through the talent tree, feel free to pause and read them at will, but don't worry, you'll see how all these fit together as we get deeper into the video. I'm including all of them so you'll know what information I'm working with as the build comes together, and this is likely going to change as balance patches come out down the road. The talent tree isn't like other games where you're expected to go all in on one side first. As we level up, we get a point in each part of the tree from left to right. I'll illustrate this on screen with the numbers I've put on the tree. With that said, as you progress through the tree, sometimes you won't have to make a decision. Each class is like this, usually 13 to 14 different effects that you'll earn purely from leveling up. You'll just need to put your points in and read the new effect to get an idea of how it makes you stronger. This is a compilation of all the talent bonuses we've scrolled through so far. Again, not going to read everything word for word, but what really matters here is identifying the theme of how the game designers want this character to be played at their full potential. With all these built-in talents at max level, we can summarize how the character should be played before we get in deeper with the rest of the talents. The theme so far with King Shark is that he should main heavy weapons for DPS and use either shotguns or ARs as support because of the built-in heavy weapon damage bonus. We should care about building up our combo to max as quickly as possible, and this goes for all classes in the game since so many talents come online after we reach a certain combo threshold. King Shark also has a lot of support for melee, shield harvest, and traversals in his talent tree. What he doesn't have is any built-in grenade bonuses. The most important thing of all is that King Shark has a passive debuff aura that should make him a mandatory pickup in any endgame team composition.
The wrath of nature. I like it.
Now let's go over the fun part of the talent tree where we use the themes we picked up on to make the best possible decisions in building our character. The first decision we have is between 3 talents that all boost melee in different ways. Out of these 3, we'll go with Ocean Blessing since it also boosts her shield harvest chance, and that will be a consistent benefit regardless of how often we choose to use melee in combat. Next up, we have a choice between some interesting melee talents or a generic firearm damage boost. We have Punishing Strikes on left here, which should be amazing for endgame, especially against bosses, so keep this one in mind. On the right, we have a Splash Zone, which could be alright in trying to scale Shark's melee for AoE damage against mob packs. But to start off with, I'd rather lean towards Firearm Aptitude for the 20% more firearm damage, and then revisit this decision when further in the game. We know King Shark's traversal is important, so here we're going to go with Strong Swimmer, which increases the power of both Vertical Launch and Apex Pounce. Usually talents related to traversal say that they just increase damage, not power, so maybe power also increases the mobility of these skills. We'll find out for sure at launch. Our first tier 3 choice is pretty much made for us if you remember the tier 0 bonus to King Shark's heavy weapons. So here we're going to pick up heaviest weapons so that King Shark gets more single target DPS thanks to the added bleed. At tier 4, we have one of Shark's most overpowered DPS boosting talents. Here we're going to take Unyielding Hunger, which is going to increase our firearm damage by up to 200%. Now the way this works with heavy weapons is that they have large mags, right? Now imagine if you find a weapon or gear piece that lets you refill your magazine. You should, in theory, be able to build and retain the full 200% damage bonus with heavy weapons and a free refill talent on gear.
What are you doing, mate? I'm smiling.
Here we absolutely want to take Royal Dominion since we already know the importance of Domineering Presence aura on King Shark. This will make all enemies around you also do 25% less damage, which should be great for you and the rest of your squad. This decision is pretty straightforward. Do you want more AoE on your traversal attack or slightly more combo generation while airborne? King Shark shouldn't really spend too much time in the air unlike other characters, so we'll pick up the more important bonus here by grabbing Crashing Drop. At tier 5, we can either take some free crit chance or sustain. Let's just grab Ferocious Jaws and move on. Here we can choose to buff the range of King Shark's presence aura or give him a cheat death. As good as the aura is, I'd argue that Cheat Death has way more value endgame as you're pushing higher into more challenging content, so we'll definitely pick up Royal Resurrection. Then here, we know that using our traversal more often is going to be more valuable than trying to scale up the damage of a single cast. So we'll go with Depth Recharge to boost traversal generation by 25%. At tier 7, we can make enemies take 100% more damage or make ourselves do up to 50% more damage based on however many enemies are around us. However, Devastating Bite is definitely the one I'd grab here as it has amazing value against bosses and other tanky enemies. We also use heavy weapons that have high RPM, so the ramp up time on this talent should be really fast. If this talent's effect counts as a debuff that your squad can benefit from, then this has the potential to be really overpowered. Here we have a bunch of survivability and sustain talents. I think we'll keep it simple and grab Imperial Guard for the 20% damage reduction since that just works all the time. Then here I'd pick up Critical Drop to give ourselves another way to generate suicide strikes faster. It is possible that our traversal attack will count as us being airborne when we drop onto things, but otherwise we'll have to remember that if we need our suicide strike, that we should think about getting airborne first. The alternative here is just shield regeneration while airborne, so it seems like a hard pass for me. At tier 8, King Shark can pick up another talent that helps generate suicide strikes, or use suicide strikes as a combo generator. Unfortunately, the combo generation takes place after you're already at 30+, so I'd rather pick up Dominating Strike since it provides a consistent benefit after Shield Harvest no matter how much combo you have. At tier 9, we can boost Shield Harvest chance, or opt for a huge damage reduction buff while we're shooting our guns. Since we plan on using heavy weapons with huge magazines, we should be able to get incredible value out of picking up Bullet Feeding Frenzy. This will give us up to 50% damage reduction, making our shark incredibly tough in endgame. Earlier in the talent tree, we picked up a few talents that boosted our Suicide Strike generation. Since we know that we'll be able to use them more often, we should grab Wavebreaker here for 50% more Suicide Strike damage. Now that we're finally at tier 10, this is where our numbers start to scale up. The left talent gives us a 75% total damage boost and makes Suicide Strike build up faster by 50%. The middle talent boosts the combo cap up by 20, but I don't remember seeing any good talents on King Shark that scale well based on combo. The right talent is kind of neat as it gives 25% damage reduction and 50% critical hit chance, so it's both good survivability and DPS in one. That said, we're absolutely taking Shark Rage here since we want every offensive aspect of our build to be as strong as possible. This next tier 10 decision also helps us put out higher numbers. The left talent is for survivability, the middle talent is for even more Suicide Strike generation, and the right is for more melee and firearm damage. Again, simple choice for us here, we'll go with Powerful Strikes so that our Shark build scales even higher. Finally, our last talent tree decision has us picking a bonus that will kick in during our squad ultimate. As King Shark, we can either make our melee damage stronger or go wild with Suicide Strikes. Since we have so much Suicide Strike generation and damage already, we'll pick up Ultimate Shark Strikes to top off our talent tree.
Computer, activate the threat assessment matrix.
With all of King Shark's talent tree decisions made, here's a quick rundown of what we picked and the overall theme of our characters so far. Make sure to read the specific wording of every talent for any fine details not mentioned here, but this is basically what its playstyle and priorities should look like. Make sure you build your combo to 50x ASAP with Shield Harvest, Traversal Multi-Hits, and General Combat. We'll be maining heavy weapons for single target DPS and bleed, and remember to be looking for talents that auto-refill your mag. If you need to generate your Suicide Strikes, remember that you generate it with Airborne Kills and Shield Harvest. Be the aggressive point man for your team so that everything around you is debuffed. If we're going to use Suicide Strikes, remember that you can also shoot tanky enemies 10 times to increase the overall damage that they take, especially during our ultimate.
Phew, I need a smoke.
I need more therapy.
Well, that should about cover King Shark's talent tree and the start of the build I'll be using. As I mentioned at the start of the video, these build guides will be a living thing that'll update over time with any new gear, talents, and other important things to add, so make sure to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content from me. Also, don't forget, I am a full-time streamer over on Twitch, and this game does have Twitch drops for the entire launch month, so if you want to pick those skins up, drop by over at twitch.tv/solidfps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.